Right, we've got to that stage in the project where you're going to have to come up with ideas for your logo design. This can be difficult, coming up with ideas, but everything that you've learned up until this point, you're going to use today. You're going to use your research, you're going to use your associative thinking, and you're going to use anything that you've learned about the design principles as well. Being asked to come up with ideas sometimes freaks people out. They think that they can't do it. They think that they can't come up with ideas, that they're not that sort of person, or I hear phrases like that. The truth is that creativity is not something that you have, it's something that you do. And I'm going to show you a little tool, a little technique to help you to come up with ideas. This is like a recipe, a guaranteed recipe for how to come up with ideas. And it's called morphological analysis. It's a big fancy word, but as you'll see from a demonstration, it's actually quite a simple process. Right, so everything I'm going to do with you just now is with the context of the Loganair logo. That's the one I was going to choose to do, right? So I'm going to show you an example of what to do with Loganair. So we're going to go back to my associative thinking exercise for Loganair. As you remember, the associative thinking exercise was a bit like daydreaming. I let my mind wander, and all the things I could think of to do with Loganair. Immediately I thought of planes, and that made me think of speed and jets and flying and so on. So this is my mind map of associative thinking, and yours will look different from this because Loganair would have made you think of different things than me. But these are the things that I thought about following my research into them. You're going to need your associative thinking exercise. You will need this mind map because you're going to make use of these words on here. This is the most important thing we're going to need. Oh, and we also need paper and pencils and pens. So let's talk a little bit then about morphological analysis. What exactly is it? Well, it's a process for coming up with ideas. And designers use it all the time. Let's take a look at something like this. The basis of morphological analysis is that we're about to build a table of options in here. I'm going to work with 4 columns. I'm going to write down some shapes, some layouts that I picked up when I was studying alignment. I'm going to pick some words or some phrases from my associative thinking mind map, and I'm going to choose some colours. And at random then, let's see how I filled this out. Okay, in the shape column, I've thought to myself, right, okay, what kind of shapes do I normally see logos arranged in? Well, sometimes I see circular logos, square logos, triangles, and then shapes that are maybe complex. Underneath layout, and I'm thinking back to my alignment exercise here, what are the sorts of ways that we could align the different elements of the logo? Well, I could stack the elements vertically like this, centre align them top to bottom. I could put them in a row horizontally. I could arrange them in an arc, something like that. Or I could just throw them at random all over the place. A word here, a picture there, something like that. You can use these options, or you can do something a bit more interesting than this. Then I looked at my associative thinking exercise, which is now underneath this page. And these were the themes, the words from my associative thinking that I wanted to pick out. I could have picked any of these words, but these were phrases that I could picture in my mind. The idea of going fast, of flying, the idea of sunshine, of being on the beach, and of comfort. These were all things that I thought about when I thought of Loganair. And finally, a little something about the colours that I'm going to use. Now, you could write in here mostly red, mostly blue, something like that, but I've been a wee bit vague. I've said cold colours, that's the colours of ice, so blues, greens, purples, things like that. Warm colours, the colours of heat and fire, yellows, oranges, reds. Contrasting colours are colours that are opposites one another, black and white, yellow and purple, blue and orange, green and red. Or harmonious colours, these are colours that are similar to one another, so yellows and greens, oranges and reds, things like that. So You can fill these out in any sort of way that you want. Let's put this to the side. We're going to make use of this grid. Okay, this is our morphological analysis grid. These are the ways that I've laid stuff out here. So, how does it work? Well, now we go through and we make random choices, random combinations, and see where it gets us. So, for example, we make some random choices, one from every column. Let's pick the circle. Let's pick the vertical layout. Let's go for an idea of sunshine and mostly warm colours. Okay, one choice from each of them. And we grab a piece of paper and we ask ourselves, right, what can we draw which fulfills that criteria? And the whole point about idea generation, coming up with ideas, is you do lots of ideas. So let's think, let me fold this over so it's not bleeding through as much. So if I thought to myself circular, vertical arrange, so I've got something circular like this. Okay, something that's vertical. Oh, I know what, that could be part of the sunshine there. We could have kind of sun rays coming off. Now, look how quickly I'm working. My ideas at this stage don't have to be beautifully drawn, but I do have to be quick. So there's the sunshine there, and it's kind of circular. So I've got circular and I've got sunshine already. What else? I need this vertical alignment though. What can I do? How about I stick Logan here underneath? How about I do this? How about I do this? Now I've got a kind of vertical arrangement right here. It's looking a little lopsided. Is there anything else I can get in here? Well, I guess I could do the bottom of the sunshine, or I may choose to do something, I don't know, since we're thinking about holidays, since that was pretty strong, maybe some water. Something like that. Okay. Now, I'm not sure. Some of your ideas you'll be happy with and some you won't be. That, to me, says burger restaurant too much. So let's try again. Let's stay with that circular. Okay. There's a circle there. Let's make that the sunshine. So our ideas should be quick. Yeah, we're scribbling these down. We're trying to get our ideas out because, believe it or not, a good idea lies underneath a massive pile of poor ideas, and it's important that we get everything on paper. So let's try and get this vertical thing, this vertical arrangement. Would that work? I'm not sure about this. Okay, let's develop that a little bit further. Okay, maybe the circle can be the O and the Logan here. Maybe that's my circle right there. Maybe it looks like that. Something like this. Okay, our ideas should be numerous, they should be quick, and they should be different as we go through things like this. Okay, now you'll notice the one thing I'm not doing, because I don't have coloured pencils to hand, is I'm not applying my colour theory. This is the one column which I'm not doing, but you should have coloured pencils or pens with you, and you'll be colouring in these oranges and reds and anything that's warm colour. Okay, right, okay, fair enough. So I could fill a whole sheet with that. I could come up with loads of circular, vertical, sunshiny, warm logos. And I would encourage you to do likewise, but let's pick another combination. How about this time we pick square, horizontal, the idea of speeds and flying, and maybe contrasting colours as well. Notice how I've labelled my combinations. These are all marked out with an asterisk now, whereas before I used circles. And again, I'm going to fold this over so that I'm just doing this so that the pen doesn't shine through from underneath. So let's think then. Let's slide this up just a tiny amount. So square, horizontal, well, I guess I could start off by putting my words in a square like that. Would that work? I'm not sure it does. We evaluate it quickly, we move on. How about my letters themselves become almost square? So let's use a square for the O in Logan. Well, this has maybe got a little bit of promise. Now that's interesting. Now I've put I've used the idea of square rather than to do with the layout, to do with the shape of the letters. And look, we've already got our horizontal arrangement right here, because that's the other thing we're trying to do, trying to get a horizontal arrangement. But how do we incorporate the idea of speed or flying into that? Well, I don't know. Simply put, how about we give it wings? Can we do that? Can we give something wings like this? Would that work? Yeah, that's kind of getting there. So you can see in this idea, we've combined the idea of square letters, a horizontal arrangement, and the idea of speed and flying. Again, I don't have my coloured pencils here, but if you were going to tackle this next in contrast, then you would be looking at colouring this with opposites. Black and white, red and green, blue and orange, those sorts of things going on there. So remember, this is idea generation. It's coming up with our initial ideas. The main things we have to do is we have to come up with lots of different ideas. That's the challenge. They don't have to be beautifully drawn. We'll come to that later. And this technique, morphological analysis, is one way to guarantee that you think about all the things from your research, your associative thinking. You plug those things in at random. You choose one from each column and you come up with ideas. You should be able to fill at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 sheets of paper full of little scribbles and sketches of ideas. Go ahead and try that out.